Welcome to Bear Archery's Hunting 101 podcast, where hunters new and old come to learn and find inspiration from stories of hunts gone by. Everyone is welcome to enjoy the outdoor way of life, and there is no better time to start than right now. So let's head into the great outdoors with your host, Dylan Ray.
All right, guys. Well, before we dive into this week's episode with my friend Aaron Ambur from ScentLock, which is going to be a fun episode, so you're going to want to stick around and listen to that. But before we dive in, the moment that you guys have all been waiting for, I would like to announce the winner of our massive giveaway we had going on. So for those of you who don't know, we were doing a giveaway for a brand new 2021 Redemption EKO from Bear Archery, a Oz Radial Nano from ScentLock. We were doing a $150 minus 33 gift card, a backpack from Alps Outdoors, and an elite membership to Onyx with some Onyx swag. Now, the winner of that giveaway is Michael M. from Highland, Indiana. Michael M. from Highland, Indiana, congratulations on a fantastic set of prizes. We could not be happier for you. Guys, thank you so much for entering our giveaway. Stick around because we're going to be doing a lot more giveaways, a lot even bigger giveaways. I want to give away a big hunt. I want to take you on a hunt with me. So stay tuned as we start putting together some more giveaways for you. But thank you guys for entering. Now, let's head into our episode with Aaron Ambur. All right, guys, welcome to Bear Archery's Hunting 101 podcast. We are coming to you. You might hear some background noise. You might hear some people shopping and enjoying life because we're coming to you from Cabela's in Wichita. So we showed up this morning. I'm with Aaron Ambur from Nexus Outdoors. Of course, the powerhouse of ScentLock, Scent Blocker, Oz. What other brands? What am I missing there?
Tree Spider.
Spider. Yep. I did forget about Tree Spider. And so we showed up at Cabela's this morning, shot some bear bows, looked at some camo, and just had a good time, man. So now we just want to sit down and talk. Aaron, you recently shot a nice buck here in Kansas. Where was you at?
Yeah, I was out of Kingman, Kansas, which I guess you'd call it central Kansas about.
Okay. And he texted me and said, shot a decent one. And I'm sitting in my blind while he texted me. He said, shot a decent one. And I'm looking at a spike in a doe. And I'm like, well, dude, I'd be happy if that didn't walk by right now. But no, a beautiful buck here in Kansas. And so is this your first Kansas whitetail?
No, I've shot a couple of deer in Kansas before, but it's been 4 or 5 years since I've been back here. So it was just great to get back to Kansas. And, you know, it's got that semi-prairie feel where you got open spaces and cropland, and yet you have concentrations of some woods. So, I mean, it really equates to great habitat and great potential for whitetail. So I love being here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Kansas is a special place, especially during the rut. And, you know, you did get to hit the rut, but were they rutting hard where you were?
Yeah, I mean, they were just on the front end, I would say. You know, I had a couple of moments in the early morning as well as late afternoon where there was, I would tell you, maybe a 200-yard chase I could see, but most of it was a 10, 15-yard sort of push of the doe. So I think we're right on the front end.
Right.
And as you know, Dylan, so much has to do with the weather as well. So during that middays, you know, we had middays in the 75-degree percentage or 75-degree Fahrenheit. So it made it really tough to see some of that midday rutting, which every hunter wants to see at this time of year.
Which it looked, man, October, what was it, 25th maybe, if I'm remembering right. We had a big cold front come in, snow, and just awesome. I'm like, dude, if this sticks around for the rut, this would be one of the greatest ruts I've been a part of. And then, of course, welcome to the Midwest. It moves out. You come in, and we got 75 degrees. So tough hunting. But before we really dive into the story, man, give us a quick introduction to yourself, ScentLock. I know you've been on the show before, so I'm sure if people have listened, they're familiar with you. But give us a quick introduction to yourself, man.
Yeah, well, again, thanks for having me. As you've introduced me, Dylan, Aaron Ambur, I'm the president of Nexus Outdoors, and as you said, we have a multitude of brands. We have the ScentLock brand, the Scent Blocker brand, Tree Spider, we have Whitewater Outdoors, and, you know, we've really taken the strategy to be a portfolio of outdoor brands, and probably what I'm most proud of is just our team and how we go about developing our assortment with each of the brands. And at the end of the day, it's about real people doing real things. And in our case, it's about those authentic outdoors people, which we all are, being out there creating product to make every consumer experience better.
And that's, man, if I could just, let me encourage you guys. You do it well. I get to work with several people, and you guys are just a pleasure to work with, easy to work with, and like you said, you have a well-balanced, if you're going out west, you got clothing, but then if you're hunting in South Texas, you've got clothing, and then if you're going in the Midwest, you got clothing. And so some people, and I'm not going to talk bad about anybody, certainly, but some people, when they try to build that portfolio, you find that every brand is doing the same exact thing. So you're like, what's the point? Merge them all into one. But you guys do it well. And so keep doing what you're doing, man, because, not only is ScentLock one of the greatest clothing companies of all time, but you've got accompanying companies that really set you guys apart. And so keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah, it's fun. And, one of the things before we move on is, why come out and get out in the field a few times in the fall is we're actually making sure some of our final products that are going to be launched in fall 2021 are tick-tied. And so it was fun and exciting for me over the course of this week, and next week I'll be using some of our new stuff to make sure those final placements of all the little parts and pieces of the garment are exactly right.
Well, pardon me, because I didn't know you had new gear with you.
No.
So we're gonna head out we'll stop this recording, head out to the truck, and I'm gonna look at some new clothing.
Yeah.
How long have you been with Nexus? You said.
Yeah, I've been with Nexus about 4.5 years.
And you were actually with Cabela's before that.
Yeah, so. Interesting. We're in the Wichita store here at Cabela's, and always great meaning to me. I spent 15 plus years of my life growing up the world's foremost outfitter, and great experience. And I remember opening up the Wichita store and coming down here in 2012, and here we sit today in front of the great fireplace, and got to meet some old friends here in the store too. And obviously today on the other side of the table at Nexus Outdoors, have a great engagement relationship with them, and we're actually just looking back at product a little bit ago, which is fun. I know we'll get into the product a little bit today too.
Now, do you think, here's what I'm interested to know. If you were to come in here and pull the right strings and say, man, I'm on a hunt, dude, lost my debit card, I need some ScentLock, you think they'd give you any?
I doubt it. IOUs, I don't think work anymore, but I try hard though. But I will tell you, it's a great organization, Cabela's and Bass Pro, and what they're doing, and the people here, just as we were agreed today, setting up for the podcast, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And shooting bows and looking at product. It's just, again, it's that culture, which is always fun to see again.
And that was one thing I'm not interested to know anymore, but I was always curious how that transaction of Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's went. And we were just talking with, I don't know his title here, but
assistant GM, yeah.
Assistant GM, and he was just raving about how good that transition was, which makes me happy because I hate it when people butt heads in the outdoor industry. I'm like, we're all one. We're all hunters. We're all, whether you're a bow hunter, rifle hunter, whether you wear Sitka or ScentLock, we're all bow hunters. We're all hunters. Just get along, man. So it made me really happy to hear how good he said that transition was. So.
And the consumer wins at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
It's just like you or me, and we want to go out. We want to go to a place where we can see the best brands, see the widest assortments, and get service to help us out make that purchasing decision. Yeah. That's what these guys are about. So certainly good to see that consumer has a great option for them.
Yeah. Now, we started off shooting some bows. You shot the Bear Divergent EKO. There's two different bows. You got the Divergent, which was the original Divergent, didn't have the EKO cam, but you shot the EKO, which has the adjustable let-off. Tell me your thoughts on that Divergent EKO.
Yeah, I was first time, I'll tell you, Dylan, I picked up a Bear bow besides a recurve here for a few years, and I was just really impressed. It shot good. It's smooth draw, and the wall was pretty good, and I think it's everything a guy would need. Believe it or not, we just set it up this morning.
Right.
And you and I both shot it, and we were grouped.
Tax.
We had no more than, I would say, a silver dollar size group of arrows.
Well, you smacked an arrow together, and I said, dude, you just broke one of Cabela's arrows. Now, I did want to ask you about a lot of people have trouble with such a short axle-to-axle bow. They think string angle will be too sharp on it, won't perform well with them. I didn't hardly notice any I loved the shorter axle, and I've not shot that bow yet. You asked me, you said, have you shot this? I said, no, I actually haven't yet. And so I shot that bow, and I enjoyed it. Would you ever see any problem with that short axle to axle?
No, I don't. I think I've kind of been both ways on it, and I think the real performance is when you even get out to farther distances, and you just, how does it work for you? But in the environment today, I mean, where you can take a shorter bow and make it work. I mean, think about ground blinds. Think about trickier sort of shots. Think about tree stands where you have less clearance. I mean, I would tell you most people will go with a shorter ATA bow, and I felt like it shot wonderful today. Really happy.
I think we were shooting the bow on 85% let off, which really is a bit too much for me. I enjoy 80. I don't have a problem with 75. It forces me to stay in the back of my shot and perform a good shot execution. You told me that you didn't have much experience with that higher let off.
Yeah, and it's funny. So I was doing some donation of camo apparel a couple weeks ago because I have to refresh. Every year I use new stuff for testing, kind of like we talked about earlier. So I had an old Matthews Q2 bow. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm going to get that, and cleaned it up. And that was a 65% let off. and it's amazing. So I'm at 80% let off today is when I'm shooting. And I think that for me is about perfect. 80, 65. I mean, when I had plenty of tension on that thing yet. And I'm like, man, on those tough situations, I mean, here's where it matters. As you know, Dylan, you get in a situation where you have to hold your bow back for a period of time because that buck didn't do what he wanted to do. That's when I tell you it makes all the difference in my mind.
Absolutely.
Holding at 65 versus 80, I mean, that's a difference maker.
I remember, man, the first deer I ever shot with a bow, I was shooting with my dad's like 74 bow. And looking back now, I mean, I was a high school kid, so I never thought about it. But looking back now, my dad still has that bow, and I drew it back not too long ago. And I'm like, Dad, you're pulling 70. And I think you're holding back 80. I'm like, I don't know how this even happens. It's so true. But we talked about that, man. We talked about when we were standing back there, we're like, man, bows have come so far that it's just mind blowing. If we could take it, my grandpa, can't pull a bow back anymore. My dad can't pull a bow back anymore. But if I could get my dad to say, if I could give him the shoulders his ability to draw a bow back now, he would just melt. I mean, he would just be blown away by the fact that how smooth the bows draw, how solid the back wall is, how he's holding back 10 pounds. Just insane, man. Yeah.
Well, and my dad, he's 74 years old, and he's got his bow tuned down to like 45 pounds, and he still reminds me, Aaron, this still has more kinetic energy than the recurve I was shooting when I was growing up. So to your point, there's a lot of ways to go about it these days. And then we saw even guys with crossbows this morning, which is also awesome to see from at least the demographic. A couple older guys 100%. Were back there that, they can't do the vertical thing anymore. They're back there trying to get a crossbow all tuned in. So 100%. Again, back to all of us who are doing one thing together. I love to see all sorts of walks of life being out there and being engaged in the outdoors.
And what you just said, about the demographic, that's why, and I say this from every podcast I do, and eventually it'll get to where I stop saying it maybe, but that's why I love bear archery, because I can shoot a recurve. My kids can shoot one of their kid bows. My dad can shoot one of their high-end crossbows. I can, grab the Status EKO, now the Redemption EKO, and have a top-of-the-line. I mean, anybody can find a bow, and that's my dad had to switch to a crossbow. He's had like 4 reconstructive shoulder surgeries, so he couldn't pull a bow back if you paid him to. But and that was the deal. I was like, Dad, well, man, I'll get you a bear crossbow. And so last year for Christmas, we got him a bear crossbow, and he's fell in love with it. So he can find bows for everybody, and that's why I love archery, man. It's so inclusive. Anybody and everybody can do it. You're welcome. You don't have to be. That's right. You don't have to be a grown man. You don't have to have money. You don't have to just come enjoy shooting, man. You can get into it for relatively dirt cheap. Whether you're 80 years old and can't draw a bow back anymore, pick up a crossbow and go hunting, man. Yeah. Archery is for everybody, and it's a sport that anybody can enjoy. You did shoot the grizzly though. Yep. What'd you think of that?
It's these things we go through in life, and I can't describe. I'm going to be 50 years old, believe it or not. I know I don't look that today, but
I would have guessed. The guy at the bow range had to ask you if he was 18.
But I would tell you to that. I had a fun time shooting the recurve today. I've just recently got into getting some traditional equipment. And it's not like I'm too cool for school. It's just fun to have some variety. And when at Scentlock back Nexus Outdoors, we have an archery range inside our warehouse and outside.
Are you guys hiring?
It's so much fun. And I can't tell you all the employees that I've had my longbow lately and been out there shooting traditional. They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing out there? And I'm like, well, let's come out and I'll show you. And just the freedom of pulling back, gripping and ripping.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. That's what we did with the recurve this morning. And there's some freedom and simplicity.
Yes,
there
100%.
is.
And that's why I told you, and I've talked about this on several episodes. I told you I'm going back to a whisker biscuit, and that's part of why. Just going simple, getting back to the simpleness of archery.
Less is more, right?
Yes, because that's why I fell in love with it, man. You know, being a kid, we didn't have lighted nocks. We didn't have sights on your light. We didn't have drop away rest. We didn't have... Yeah, I mean, it was simple. You had one stabilizer on. You know, now we got sidebars and back stabilizers, and you got slider sights with 4 pins in them, and it becomes so complicated and so overwhelming. And so I just love the simplicity of archery. Yeah. And so that's what I'm trying to do right now is just dumb down everything I do, which was, you know, part of the reason I started working with Mossy Oak, going back to the simplicity of camo, you know, what I grew up wearing. We see new camo come out every 3 days.
Yep.
And I was like, I just want to go back to what I enjoy. I don't have to, you know, because I used to be the same way you were, you know, new camo every year and trying to find the newest, greatest. Well, what are these guys wearing? What are they wearing? Well, they make this look cool. I need to buy that camo. I just want to make it simple, man. Everything I do, which is the appeal for traditional archery for me. And just like you, I'm just now getting into it. I used to plank around some, worked at a bow shop in college. And so, you know, we'd pick up a recurve and go out and shoot it. But I'm just now getting into that. And it's so nice to grab your bow and grab 5 arrows and go out and just start shooting. I don't have to get a release and get my rangefinder, and I don't have to. It's so easy, man. It's so enjoyable. It's just,
and right now I think, you know, is you know, we chat a little bit. 2020's been a tough year, and this whole simplicity of people re-engaging the outdoors. I'm going to bring this all the way around to your comment. Is, you know, the outdoor industry has had a really engaged year with the customer. I mean, we don't sell bows and arrows or sights or crossbows or anything like that, but all my peers I talked to, it's been an unbelievable year. And what we're finding is the family is finding that connection again with the simplicity of the outdoors, right. Because of the COVID. I can't do this, I can't do that. And it's really good for, again, this demographics about the simplicity and the engagement, the experience outdoors, and just plunking in the backyard. So 100%. I think that's probably the most exciting thing in a really tough year that I've seen is connection 100%, with the outdoors. 100%,
man. And with a parent who's got young kids, you know, volleyballs were canceled, T-balls were canceled, church events were canceled. You know, we didn't have church camp this year. That's now a week that we're sitting at home where we didn't have anything to do because we had blocked off our schedules. So we're sitting at home. We can't leave the house. Let's go hike. Let's lace up some boots and go hike. Let's go outside. You know, sweetheart, go grab your little bow. Let's go out and shoot. Let's go shed hunting. We got the shed hunt this year, which we never get time to do because it's crazy time of year. So, you know, and of course, even coming up this year, you know, 2021 ATA has already been canceled. SHOT Show's already been canceled. Yeah. You know, so there's now weeks in shed hunting season where we get to go out and we don't have anything to do now.
That's right.
So absolutely, COVID has sucked, but it's given us that just, what do we do now? We don't have anything to do. I'm tired of watching TV. I'm tired of playing Xbox. Well, let's go outside and throw sticks and hit rocks. And, man, I walked outside the other day, and my son usually when your 2-year-old son's quiet, you know, you're like, something's going down. So I'm sitting there watching TV. The Razorbacks were on playing football. So I'm sitting there watching the game, and my son was eerily quiet. And I'm like, something's going on, man. He's, you know, coloring on the walls, or he's eating the dish pods or something. Something's up. So I walk in there, and I walk in there like you're walking into a horror movie, like trying to look, see what's going on. And he was sitting out on the back porch, and I kid you not, he had a rock and a stick, and he was just hitting the stick and hitting the rock, and for 30 minutes. And I know that, you know, that's a 2-year-old boy, but it really does show us that my kids were tired of being cooped up in the house. He just wanted to go outside and do something, man, whatever it was. And that's how my girls are right now. I walked outside the other day, and I was so proud of them, because usually, you know, kids these days, when I was a kid, you couldn't pay me to go inside. It was like, I'm outside all day. I'll leave at breakfast, see you at dinner, Mom. But now it's like, kids, turn the TV off, find something else to do. And I was looking for my daughters the other day. I couldn't find them. So I walk around the back of the house and couldn't find them. Walk around the back of the fence, and they had tied a rope to the tree, and they were swinging on it. I'm like, praise God. Thank you for doing something. One of you's going to break an arm. It's going to cost me a lot of money, but it's worth it. But you're right, man. It absolutely has driven people to the outdoors, and I don't really know how we got here from shooting recurves, but
the simplicity, I guess, of the outdoors, how we got here and how special it is,
Back to the bear grizzly.
Yeah.
We were shooting a 50-pounder, which I've been learning. Like I said, I'm 2 months into this, so I'm new to it, and I have a 45-pound grizzly. And I could tell the difference in that 5 pounds, man.
She was barking a little bit when you got it back there.
I could tell the difference. No, I loved the way it shot. I shot horribly. I did put the 3D target up and wounded a doe. But
and we moved on before I had embarrassed myself.
Yeah,
so
somebody else came in and we had to go. But no, it was a good time, man. Tell me about this deer hunt in Kansas, man. You had a tough week. I know you grinded it out. How did it unfold?
Yeah, well, so, this week, when you see it set up on the calendar, it's set up great. I mean, you have a Red Moon week happening this week. And, Bill Winke, he'll tell you he loves the 7th the best. There's many people say they like the pre-rut the best. So we're right in that zone where anything can happen. And the goal is when you're hunting the first week of November, and I'm going to just call it Midwest, is you're looking for that first doe that comes into heat, and you're just praying to God that let her be on my property. And most of these, what happens biologically, if you have an early cycle doe that one comes into heat, and that doe's still alive, that doe will come in the same time every year. So what you're hoping for is have one of those ram around. If you have one of those does ram around, you have the bucks chasing. So unfortunately this week, it was really light on the rut side. We were hoping to see more activity. And again, back to the weather comment, I'm sure the weather had something to do with it. So, most of the movement, I tell you, it was early, Dylan. It was by 8:30, things were pretty much shut down. We had mid-70s midday. I actually ground out, sat all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and then I was lucky enough to catch up on one Wednesday morning. But it was dead at 8:30. We had a little movement at 3:30 towards the end of the night, but it was pretty much shut down. Full moon, red moon. It was pretty tough. But all I know is you can't kill one staying in the house. So, that 10-2 buck, which I thought I'd probably kill this week, it wasn't happening. But
yeah, and that is, I've been out. I went out quite a bit this week, and I didn't see the rut activity I normally see this early either. Yeah. Of course, I'm hunting a property I've never hunted in the rut before, and on the map, it looks like it would be a fantastic rut property. Yeah. I just didn't see the rut activity. And, like you said, I've mentioned this article several times, but I saw an article where they asked 10 big buck killers, what's one day you'll go hunting?
Yeah.
But if you could pick one day of the year to be in the tree stand, what would that day be? And like 6 of the 10 said November 7th, Bill Winke being one of them, Jeff Danker being another. Yeah. I don't remember all of them, but just big buck killers saying November 7th. And we're recording this on the 6th. Tomorrow is the 7th.
Yeah.
I don't get to hunt. Never do. It's my kid's birthday. Dude, I had a sing kid born on November 7th. I read this article and it says, what's the one day? It says November 7th. And then in like a month, I'm sitting in the hospital on November 7th. My wife's giving birth. And be careful what you do on Valentine's Day, because Valentine's Day is 9 months from November 7th.
Well, lucky for you, you can live vicariously through others because of social media, right?
Well, and I told my wife, I'm like, why couldn't this be a son? Because then I could turn this around, and then every year after this say, hey, son, I'm taking you on a hunting trip for your birthday.
Yeah.
But my daughter is my daughter. But, no, really good time. And then 2 years later, I was headed out west, and my wife goes into labor on September 2nd. So
oh my goodness,
that canceled a western trip for me, too, there. So, but I'm done now, so I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
So did you score the deer? Did you measure it?
Yeah, I roughed it. It was in the 50s. A really good buck. A really good buck for Kansas. I mean, I think it's very representative.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd be happy to shoot a 50s right now. I actually passed on probably a mid 40s. I guess it was Monday morning. But again, I showed you a picture. I'm just chasing a giant right now, and my luck, I would have shot that 140, and then my giant would have came out, and I would have been sitting there stinking mad at myself. But No, he's pretty consistent, so I should be able to shoot the 140 just about any time I want.
Yeah,
so.
you just got to keep after. I was lucky Wednesday morning, and my strategy was pretty much hunting transition areas this week. Between field area and bedding, and I was trying to get closer to bedding because you just never know when they're going to start getting a lot closer to bedding areas and looking for bumping does. And luckily the buck that I had was coming down a little transition funnel, if you will, going towards a bedding area, and I was lucky enough to catch up with him. And so the strategy played out a little differently than maybe I thought it might from just an activity, but super proud and lucky I had an opportunity to harvest that deer.
Now, was this just a private lease? Was this an outfit?
Yeah, semi-guided, I'd call it. Semi-guided outfit. So, yeah, it's a relationship we've had for a couple of years, and again, just they do a pretty nice job of having some reconnaissance.
The only reason I ask is because I was curious to know what the outfit was saying about the weather and the rut, and when things might turn around. I'm guessing we've got a cold snap coming Monday, which would be the 9th. So, definitely I think that'll kick them more into the rut. Yeah. To the rut spirit. So
I was more surprised because I thought last week when you said this weather came through that there would be more movement. And when they were going through all their cameras, believe it or not, there was not significantly much difference at all in traffic last week versus this week. And in fact, they had a couple of midday movers. We had a couple of pictures at 1:20 in the afternoon, one at 2 o'clock. And so you can tell Dylan is just right on the cusp. If we get that cold front next week, it's going to pop. Most definitely.
Yeah, and I will, Monday and Tuesday will be my all-day sit. I had originally told you, let's meet a little later so I can hunt this morning. Yeah. And I decided to just pull out, let the pressure lie. Of course, I'm probably going to get a picture of him this morning. And then
why not, right?
And I'll be mad at you.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But, pull out, let the pressure lie, and let it wait for that time to really kick it up. Why go in there and put more scent in there? Why go in there and make more noise when I can just pull out, let pressure lie, and then when it's really hot, go in there and actually have a really good chance of
that's smart. I mean, the last thing you want to do, especially with that buck you have on the camera, is pressure him. I mean, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen, and not pressing it too early. I know you're excited, and I don't want to miss a moment, but, certainly every day, as you know, it gets better.
Right. Now, my hunt Tuesday morning quickly turned into a coyote hunt. I saw one coyote, and he came in and stood right at 20 yards. So I got my bow up, got to full draw. Right when I got to full draw, he decided to take off. But then I saw him come back, and then I saw 3 more coyotes. And so I literally pulled out my squaller and just started squalling. I'm like, forget deer hunting, man. I'm coyote hunting. And no, it was fun hunt. But, yeah, when I see a coyote, I quickly turn into a coyote hunter.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how many coyotes and bobcat are in this part of the country, And I thought there was pheasants around here yet, but I heard the predation's been really bad on the turkeys. The pheasants are almost non-existent, at least where we're at. And, I mean, we heard a lot of coyotes. I actually saw a couple of bobcat on the hoof when I was hunting. So, definitely there's a lot of good opportunity, I think, go predator hunting.
So what happened was we had a bad ice storm. It was probably 7 years ago.
Okay.
Killed off a lot of turkeys, a lot of pheasants. We finally started getting our pheasant numbers back up, and I could tell easily. We'd make one trip out to pheasant hunt every year, and those years we were killing 20, 25 birds over the weekend, and where before we were killing 80, 85, 90 birds in the weekend. And so last year was really it had finally got back to, man, this is on fire. And then we have horrible flooding all across the state. Horrible flooding. And it killed a lot of birds again. And so we're right back to that rebuilding phase. And I really haven't seen number breakdowns on before and after all the flooding. But I can't imagine that it didn't take a huge toll on the pheasants. Because it was horrible, man. I mean, there was towns shut down, I don't know if you saw a lot of coverage of it, but we were going to drive to Arkansas and spend time with family, and we couldn't the roads were closed like 4 times between us and Arkansas.
Crazy.
So we couldn't even get there, and it was insane, man. I mean, just water standing. I saw one guy in his field, in his wheat field, standing up to his waist in water.
Unreal.
For like 3 weeks. So I can't imagine that it didn't take a huge toll on the pheasants. Now, let's talk about some scentlock, man.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, this is a great example of a week in which really plays to our advantage on one of our programs. One of our most elite programs is the Bow Hunter Elite 1. We call it BE1. And what's so amazing about that toolkit is its ability to hunt different conditions. Yeah. So I had the BE1 toolkit with me this week. Now, this week was interesting because the variance or variability in the weather was not as great as I experienced last year in Iowa for the first 10 days. But it's such that, we start from with our midweight piece, and then we have a base layer, and we have on-demand reactor, which is an on-demand layering piece. And to me, if there's one theme of this week, it was layering, meaning that in the morning, we had one morning was 33, the others were 40, 42 degrees. And, I wanted to layer something under my Voyage jacket and pant, which I'd say is a mid-weight package.
Yeah.
But it worked really good. So I was actually layering up. I'd wear one extra layer. And during the day, when I was on those all-day sets, I certainly took that layer off. So I was able to, if you will, move, with the climate and environment. And had I been here last week, what I've been doing is doing some of that combination and also introducing our Fortress, which I know you love our Fortress parka and bib, and you can tell me you tell me better than I about your love for that piece.
So I decided to go out and hunt last week, and it was 16 degrees, and we actually did a podcast just like the hour before we went out, and that went out last week. So you heard about us talking about that weather.
Yep.
So I did decide to go out, had the Fortress bib and parka on, and 16 degrees and snowing. And now I was in a ground blind, so I wasn't getting snowed on. I couldn't have done this if I was in the snow, but I actually hunted the entire time with my parka completely unzipped because I got too warm. I have no need to sell you on the product, but I told you that immediately. I was blown away. I'm like, I was worried about being too cold, and because I really just put on one base layer. I put on a heavyweight merino base layer, top and bottom,
yep.
And then the Fortress. And I'm like, am I putting on enough? Because it is cold, it was real windy. I'm like, this is gonna suck. But I hunted the entire time with my jacket, parka unzipped. Just insane, man.
Worked like it should, right?
Now, I do have a love for that, but my favorite series of all time is the Forefront. I have to say, just the fit, the quality. I love the way they fit athletically. You could wear them. I could literally wear those for anything. I was on the phone with a guy on the way here, and I said, "Dude, I think I can hunt down into the 30s with this. You know, if I put on a good base layer and a good vest, and
you're tough too, so that helps."
Yeah. And then I don't get cold easily. I really don't. That's just ask my wife. I keep the house about 67, and I still don't sleep with a blanket.
Yeah.
That's just no. But really, it's just a fine series. I could wear that with anything.
It's our most popular midweight piece by far. And you're right. It's just a little bit when we compare it against the BE1, just a little bit lighter. It's in that core midweight range, and you're right with layering. Even with that, from base layers to even an on-demand layering piece under that, you can go pretty deep in the season. Yeah. And that piece as well is great because it has that super hydrophobic DWR. So it really is its ability to shed, if you will. If you get a little bit of mist, a little bit of moisture, leaning against a tree, walking in the morning. So it's a great piece, and your experience and your love for it doesn't surprise me.
Now, what's Steve's title? Marketing?
Yeah, he's a senior manager of marketing. Steve Alley. Yep.
Steve Alley. Now, don't tell him we talked about him because I want to see if he listens. He posted a really funny picture. I think it was this morning.
Yeah.
And he was carrying a huge. Did you see this?
Oh yeah.
Carrying a huge suitcase in. Just overly sized. And it said, when you're hunting the Midwest or whatever.
Right. And it's so true, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so true. But it goes back to why ScentLock strives, because there is a layering system that I can get by with anything. And, I could pack a bag and literally hunt in 70 to 10.
Right.
That's the beauty of it.
Well, and that's why, my bag, believe it or not, I was thinking about that post that Steve had this morning when I was packing up my truck. And because I'm headed tonight to Oklahoma,
You'll get the cold front.
And I'll get a cold front. And then I'm going from there to Illinois. And who knows in the Midwest in another week what that's going to look like. So that's why, the bag is a little bit bigger. But again, the toolkit that I'm using, some new stuff that I know you want to see it. It's in my truck and see your bag. But I'm excited. I have a couple of heavier weight pieces that we're excited that we're just, I got the final prototypes, salesman samples, so I'm going to use them. Hopefully it gets a little colder because that's what I need to test those out. And but that's the Midwest.
Yeah,
it is. It's from 75 down to 30 down to, I was just mentioning Iowa last year, 12 days. It was 5 degrees was the high, I think, on November 4th or 5th last year.
God.
And you know how that is, sitting all day?
Yeah.
That's cold. I don't care who you are.
That is cold.
Not moving, so.
Man, there was one time here in Kansas, just a cold front like I've lived here for 6 years now, and a cold front like I'd never seen. It got down to -11 and just dumping snow. And I went out and set, and craziest deer activity I've ever seen. I think we saw like 14 bucks. I mean, just an incredible night. But you want to talk about getting cold, man. It didn't take long. Your eyelashes are freezing shut to your face. And
well, as if you're not comfortable, though, people aren't going to be out in the field.
Absolutely.
And just like that experience you had, if you're not dressed, if you're not comfortable, if you can't execute a shot because you don't have the right, if you can't draw back, so you're too cold or too much bolt, it doesn't work. So that's obviously what we fight for every day, is making sure we can keep people warm, comfortable, protected from elements. And then obviously with our scent technology, which is the number one reason that we exist, it all comes together.
Now, if you are in the field but you're uncomfortable, what happens is you're not sitting still, you're not being quiet. I mean, so if you are in the field, you're running your hunt if you're not comfortable.
That's right.
But man, it's my pet peeve. Like when you find a clothing company, you're like, but where's the midweight or where's the lightweight? This is only good if it's 4 degrees outside, or this is only good if it's 70 degrees. What happens when it gets cold? So really, man, kudos to you guys for covering all your bases.
Yeah, appreciate it. Have you got our new heated vest yet?
I don't.
Oh my goodness. So we actually have a part of our assortment. It's called the BE1 Reactor.
And that's pretty new, right?
Yeah, that's new for this fall. And so we've had a ton of people buy it this year, and I was actually using it last year down in Iowa. And I'll tell you what, that's a great piece that we've really simplified the battery. You can use any USB battery, and it has a power switch right on the vest. And talk about dressing lighter, having less on, so less is more, back to the simplicity deal, and being able to use that to just have maximum comfort. And the benefit is not only does your core stay warm, but you know what also happens when your core stay warm?
Everything else stays warm.
Exactly. You get it. And, blood flows better to your extremities, hands, feet. And so that's just another thought. And it's not like it's revolutionary, but as it relates to making it part of a bigger story, just getting great feedback on it.
I am a diehard vest guy. Ask my family, like even outside of the woods. I mean,
right.
I don't like to wear a jacket because even if it's 10 degrees outside, I know I'm about to walk into a Cabela's where the fire's going and it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
So I don't like to wear a big jacket. I just wear a vest because I might be a little cold when I go outside, but then I'll be comfortable when I go inside. I love a vest. And I remember I was hunting with a guy, and he always made fun of me for wearing vests, always. Because, I wear them to church over my button-up shirt. I'll wear them to family dinner, whatever. I wear them everywhere. And he always made fun of me for wearing a vest. And I took him on a duck hunt. The river was frozen over. It was freezing cold. He was over there shivering. And I had a big, thick wool vest. And I said, dude, just put it on. And he put it on. He's like, this really actually did make a difference. I've always thought they're dumb because my arms are still out. And I'm like, dude, if you keep your core warm,
that's right,
you're good. Which is why if you see a lot of archers, a lot of target archers, if it's cold out for a target shoot, they're wearing just a vest because it's still circulating blood, like you said, keeping their core warm, but it doesn't bundle them up to where they can't shoot their bows.
That's right.
So vests are vital. And then you got, hey, I like your blocker outdoor pants right there, my friend.
Yeah, Matrix.
Sorry, I had to shout out to a customer who's wearing your products.
He was like, who's that dude with the headphones on? Well, why is he saying hi to me? So,
well, we had a guy a minute ago come through in another clothing brand, and I wanted to just yell at him and says, where's your scent lock? But, no, I didn't. Where was I even at with this?
The vest. Yeah, the duck hunting deal.
Just vital, man, for any outdoorsman.
Yeah.
And now you've added the heat to it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get one, man.
And it's super lightweight and thermal value, primo. It's really nice. So again, it's all about being there in the woods when you need to be there, no matter what the conditions.
But you guys are pretty much sold out of stinking everything.
It's been a good year.
It's been a really good year, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And so, I tried to get the Oz Infuse forever, and it was sold out. And so, let me just make mention, man. Come to Cabela's.
That's right.
Go to Academy or Dick's, whoever sells scent lock, because they might be sold on their website, but these people are still got product. We just went back there. You guys got some product out there. A lot of Oz products over there. I checked those out earlier. They have the Infuse here, which you cannot buy on scent lock. It's sold out. And so, if you're looking for product, come to Cabela's. Come shop at these places because we support them. Don't think, well, I want to shop from ScentLock. Well, you still are, right. But support the people that sell our products.
Well, great experience, great assortment here. To your point, we want customers to come engage and touch and feel, get sized up right, touch the Infuse, understand what size it is, how it appears, look at the ozone. I mean, it's a great place, and plus it's fun. There's a bunch of big stuff up on the walls, and I know
a lot of animals that I would love to shoot.
Oh yeah, it's almost not fun sometimes because you're like, oh, only F, right? Only F.
Yeah, I can't wait to be to a place where I can just walk in Cabela's and be like, why would you shoot that tiny elk? No, but you're right. Come support these places. That's one of the biggest benefits of coming and getting your clothes here.
Absolutely.
Is you can try them on. I hate. Man, shipping stuff back is a pain.
Yeah.
So come try clothes on, and then if you do want to order from ScentLock, at least you know what size you need. You know what series you're gonna like. I've ordered stuff. It looks good online, and I don't like it. It didn't fit me the way I wanted it to. It wasn't the piece I was looking for. So come into a place you can actually feel them, try them on. Same with bear archery.
That's right.
Come try a bow out. If you've thought, I'd love to shoot a bear, but I've not shot one in a while. Come try it out. These guys bent over backwards for us in the range. They set up a bow for us. Took 10 minutes. And we were shooting and we're driving tacks with it. I mean, come try the bows out here.
Like me today, had I not got a chance to have a range and go draw that bow and experience it, you can't do it elsewhere. So
So go try those places out, and of course, go try out your local dealers. They're going to have our Elite Series.
Oh yeah.
Our dealer only series. So go check out your local bow shops and shoot your Redemption EKOs. Shoot your Whitetail Legend series bows. Shoot those bows. Try them out. Get a feel for them. If you don't like them, buy something else. But at least you got hands on. You got to try it. You got to experience. Before we go, send us off, man. We started something new here that I don't think you've been on since we started.
Oh, maybe you were. Yeah, we'll try it again.
Have you done a field note?
Perhaps.
All right, give us a field note, something you've learned over the years, and it can't be hunt the wind because we've heard that from like 8 people. So just a quick note that I can jot down, keep in my back pocket, pull it out, when I'm in Iowa and I'm thinking, man, I can't get it done. Well, I remember what Aaron told me at Cabela's that one day. What do you got for me?
Well, the one I used last time was definitely the head mask as it relates to scent management, if you will.
Yep.
This is, there's a debate on this, but here's what I'm going to tell you is that I learned the lesson this year. I was out hunting in Wyoming and mostly deer hunting, and then I went antelope hunting, and I didn't take my rubber boots. So I'm still going to go back to an old tried and true. Make sure you're wearing rubber boots when you're whitetail hunting. I still see pictures of people in leather boots. There's nothing wrong with leather boots. But if you're all about making sure the deer doesn't have one more reason to get in a place you don't want them, to think there potentially it would be something up, I would definitely say rubber boots. And I'm a big tucker inner, so I think tucking into rubber boots, even the scent man. I think tucking in, you're still better off because that rubber, believe it or not, walking grass. I have not been fouled up to my tree stand in so long.
Yeah.
And so that would be what I'd say today.
You do hear people debate it, and it's almost as if, what are you even debating anymore? It's scientifically proven that rubber does not hold scent like leather does. So 100%, man. Now, I do find like my rubber boots are super insulated. So if it's early season, I'll wear my schnees in, which are my leather boots. But you're right, man. I almost feel uncomfortable doing so. I'm almost like looking down thinking, curse you, leather boots. So I need to get an uninsulated pair of rubber boots.
That's key to get an uninsulated pair of rubber boots. And don't get a neoprene top, get a full rubber cloud all the way to the top because that neoprene fabric will even hold some scent. So get an uninsulated rubber cloud. Dude, right back here in the corner.
Yeah.
They'll take your money.
Yeah.
They will absolutely take your money.
We'll go back there and try some on. We'll see if we can get some for free. I'll say, do you not know who this guy is? No. Man, I got a scent control tip.
What is it?
You ready for this?
Yeah, I am.
It's life-changing for you. You know deodorant, right? You use it sometimes?
We have unscented deodorant, yes.
Oh, you guys sell it?
Yes, we do.
I'm so sorry because I'm about to destroy that.
It's all right.
How much do you charge for it?
Oh, probably about $7-8.
That's all I need to know. Go to your cosmetology section at Walmart and just go to your regular deodorant section. Look at the very bottom because nobody ever buys it. It's like Arm & Hammer, unscented deodorant for like $1.
There you go.
That's what I've used that for like 5 years.
Money saving tip.
I just saved $6.
Yeah.
So that's my little tip, man, right there. Just I don't know if people get as much joy out of this as I do. But I love finding things that aren't technically for hunting that I use for hunting, and then they work really well.
Yeah,
I just love that, man.
Well, you need to be in product development because that's what it's all about.
That's exactly what I need to do because I'm like, man, I just saved $6 because if I go back to the hunting section, that's going to be $7, or I can get this one for $1. It's the same stuff. Yeah. No, it doesn't. You are correct. It doesn't have the product in it to actually keep the scent away. This is just non-scented deodorant, so it keeps me from sweating, and it doesn't smell. So there still is a benefit of buying your product.
There you go.
Because that does work to destroy the odor and keep it away. This just keeps me from sweating. So
this has been fun.
It has been fun, man. Next time we need to come do this, and we just need to interview people as they walk by.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a good time.
Who are you and why? What do you need from me? Right?
Hey, jump in here. Let's ask you some questions. What are your thoughts on the presidential election, sir? He had nothing to say. That guy really did walk by and looked at me like I had 7 eyes when I asked him that. No, guys, thank you so much for listening. This has been an absolute blast. So thank you for taking time out to come here, man. We're going to go get a fat steak. Thanks for listening. You guys have a great week.
Thank you.